2, the second trait to emulate is let nothing keep you from Christ. Let nothing keep you from Christ. I want us to be tenacious in our pursuit of Christ, to be ferocious, to go after him with everything you've got. And this might seem foreign to some of us because we struggle to commit to anything, myself included. You know, your doctor give you medicine for a week. After you feel good in 3 days, you just stop taking the medicine. It's 1 week. We can't commit to 1 week. Man, that pill's too big. Why you give me 2 pills? How come I can't just take 1? We can't commit to anything. Number 2, let nothing keep you from Christ. Luke chapter 19, verse 1 through 4. And I'm going to read the NLT because I like the way it sounds. And because you don't have the scriptures on the screen behind me, I can paint the picture for you and you can see it. You can even close your eyes if you want to. Don't go to sleep, though. Jesus entered Jericho and made his way through the town. There was a man there named Zacchaeus. He was the chief tax collector in the region, and he had become very rich. He tried to look at Jesus, but he was too short to see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed up a sycamore fig tree beside the road, for Jesus was going to pass that way. You guys have heard this story, yes? Zacchaeus. We've sang about him since we were wee little kids because he's a wee little man. He's too short. He's too short to see Jesus. And the crowd is not budging because of the character that he has. No one's trying to help him. He's been robbing them their whole lives. So he's like, hey, can I see? Man, if you don't get out of here. Hey, can somebody help me see Jesus? Man, they probably kicked him a few times. He couldn't see. He was too short. And it made me think, is there something in our lives that's blocking our view of Jesus? See, the people were too big for him to get there. Too tall and he can't see, and Jesus can't see him. But all of us are not we in stature, but are we in spirit? Are we small in our spirit to where we can't see Jesus? The crowd was not going to help him. So this is what he does. He turns around and goes back home, right? Is that what the Bible says he did? He didn't go back? Oh, what did I read? Maybe I made a mistake. Oh, he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree beside the road that Jesus had to pass by. I have a very serious question for you right now. If you're not sitting up, sit up for this one. I'm gonna stand up tall for this. I'm gonna pull my pants up for this one. How badly do you want to see Jesus? No, I'm being serious. How badly do you want to see Jesus? When things are blocking your view, will you quit and return back to what you know? Or will you run ahead and climb to make sure you have that meeting with him? Hebrews 11:6 says, without faith it's impossible to please God, for he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. The first time I heard that scripture, I fell in love with the word diligently. He's a rewarder of them that half-heartedly seek him. No. He's a rewarder of them that kind of, sort of seek him. No. He's a rewarder of them that diligently seeks him. You know what I didn't do? I didn't look that word up for y'all, but I have a good feeling y'all know what that word means. You don't let anything keep you from Christ. The crowd is in his way, but he positions himself to make sure there's an interaction between him and Christ. And I want to ask you, will you position yourself to make sure you can have an interaction with Jesus? Will you run ahead? See, running ahead wasn't enough, because if you ran ahead, the crowd is coming with Jesus. So what does that mean? In a few minutes, he's going to be blocked again. So he runs ahead, and then he goes, okay, I got to do more than this. He climbs up in the tree. He is a rewarder of them that diligently seeks him. If you continue to read this story, Jesus walks to the tree and stops. And he goes, Zacchaeus, come on down. I got to kick it with you tonight. I'm going to hang out at your house tonight. Then all the murmurings, look at Jesus. I know he ain't finna hang out with dude. No, he ain't finna sit with dude and eat with him, break bread with that dude. Jesus says, this is who I came for. I came to seek and save the lost. Those who are healthy don't need a doctor. He diligently sought me. He will get an audience with me. What are you willing to do to make sure you see Jesus? Understand this. The enemy, one of his greatest schemes is to interrupt your meetings with Christ. He wants to interrupt those meetings. That's the reason life is so fast for you. And me. How many of y'all, besides me, I'm going to be first to say this. How many of y'all have ever said, I really want to spend more time in my word, but I'm tired. But then I watch 4 hours of Netflix. I was going to say 5, but I didn't want y'all to judge me. How many of y'all have said, you know what? I need to spend more time in prayer to keep my minds on the things of God. But as soon as I jump in my car, and my commute is 35 to 45 minutes, depending on traffic, and the first thing I do is turn on my radio or put my new audiobook in my ear. That's 30 to 45 minutes. I could have an audience with Jesus. One of the greatest nuggets of wisdom I heard right here in this church is when you get in your car, turn your radio off. I prayed coming to church this morning. My mind is different when I walk through those doors. Even if you play gospel music, nothing wrong with it. I like gospel music. In fact, that's usually the only music I really like to listen to. It doesn't let your brain slow down enough to hear God speak. And if you start praying, after a while, I done got nothing else to say, and then you get quiet. And while you're driving in quiet, the Spirit will say, really, Lord? I never thought about that. So she was right. My wife was right. I better tell her I'm sorry. Okay, I'll tell her I'm sorry, Lord. You think she'll say you sorry? Okay, now you pushing it, brother. That's what the Spirit said. I mean, you know the Spirit tells the truth. You have 30 to 45 minutes, and in Nashville it's getting worse and worse. Your traffic won't feel so bad when you spend it with him. I'm going to tell you, I used to sit somewhere another hour just so I wouldn't sit in traffic. But now, traffic doesn't bother me so much because I can spend that time with him. These are the times that I can position myself to meet with Christ. These are synonymous. There's another word, synonymous. That means the same as running ahead and climbing. I turn my TV off and I read my word. I turn my radio off and I spend time in prayer. That's me running ahead and climbing. And when you seek him diligently, he promises you will get an audience with him. What efforts am I willing to make to ensure that Jesus and I have an interaction? Mark chapter 5, verse 25 through 29. 25 through 29. This is the NLT as well. It says, as a woman in the crowd had suffered for 12 years with constant bleeding. She had suffered a great deal from many doctors over the years, and she spent everything she had to pay them. But she had gotten no better. In fact, she had gotten worse. She heard about Jesus, so she came up behind him through the crowd and touched his robe. For she thought to herself, if I could just touch his robe, I will be healed. Immediately, the bleeding stopped, and she could feel in her body that she had been healed of this terrible condition. You guys have heard this story. Let's unpack it a little bit. 12 years is a long time to deal with anything. Would you agree? 12 years, she's been bleeding constantly. Constantly. When you bleed, you lose oxygen. When you lose oxygen, you lose energy. So 12 years, she's been weak and feeble and faint. 12 years. She didn't give up. She went to every doctor she could find. She pawned the VCR. She sold all her jewelry. She paid all these doctors, and now she still doesn't feel any better. In fact, it says she feels worse. Then she hears about Jesus. Now, you got to visualize this woman. She's weak. The crowd was in Zacchaeus' way. He's too short. The crowd is in her way. She's too weak. Ain't nobody finna let me get through. That's what she said. Man, I guess I'll see him next time he comes to town. She was like, excuse me. Excuse me. Man, get out of the way, old lady. Excuse me. Excuse me. Ah, she got him. She put everything she had into reaching him. And I thought about that. Everything you got, you put everything you got into reaching Jesus? And Jesus was like, whoa, who touched me? His disciples got kind of funny. What do you mean, who touched you? Jesus, you see all these people out here. How are we going to figure out who? No. Somebody touched me. I mean, they touched me different because I felt power leave me. Somebody touched me. And then the woman had to speak up. It was me. He told her that it's your faith that healed you. It's the fact that you made sure you sought me no matter what. You pushed through every obstacle to get to me. Let nothing keep you from Christ. I heard a story once where this man had a dog, and the dog laid on a nail, and it was whimpering. It was how dogs. And this friend looks at him and goes, what's wrong with your dog? He said, he laid on a nail. He said, why don't the dog just get up? He said, I guess it doesn't hurt bad enough yet. So that's how we are. We'll lay on the nail in our lives because it don't hurt bad enough yet. We'll sit there in pain, in misery, in depression, and all we got to do is get up. All we got to do is chase God. All we got to do is cry out to him, but yet we will lay on that nail and whimper and whine, and nobody wants to help me. Here's something that I've learned in life. Desperation will make you move in life. When you're truly desperate, you're not worried about what nobody else thinks anymore. I'm not worried about if you guys judge me. If my child is dying in a hospital and I'm shouting on this front row, I'm not worried. Look, I can't believe him. Look how he's acting. Y'all remember when David came home from war and he was dancing so crazy that he danced out of his clothes? I mean, he danced out of his clothes. I would demonstrate that right now, but my wife is like, you bet not. They don't need to see that 6-pack or 12 or 18-pack, whatever I got. I'm hiding it under this hoodie. How many of us are walking around weak, depressed, and overwhelmed, laying on the nails, and Jesus is just saying, bring me your problems. Bring me your plight. Reach out to me. Grab hold of me. Call out to me. I got you.
Did you know that you could actually support the YouTube channel and podcast? That's right. If you have a desire to be a blessing to the show, there's many different ways you can do it. We have Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and you can use the website to make a donation. Any donation will help, and every donation will be used to pour into the lives of others. So if you want to click on the description of this video, you can find all of the information you need to make a donation. God bless you, and thank you for your support.